Quiet up there, I'm trying to make a bike video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm James with GT Trails, and this is gonna be my quarantine bike check video. I always get the question, what bike are you riding now, James? Or do you still have this bike you had like a year ago or that bike? Guys, I go through bikes like I go through toilet paper after eating Taco Bell. I just go through them. I want to bring you guys the most up-to-date information on bike technology and suspension. So I like to go through the bikes, and I really appreciate how bikes are evolving over the years. They're just getting better and better and better. But with that being said, this is the bike basement, or used to be the bike basement. If you're new to the channel, it used to be look like a complete dungeon. We did it all over, so it's no longer the bike basement. It's just the basement, and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so before right here is like where my bike studio kind of workshop was, where I used to make my bike videos. So now all I get is a little sign here, and my space where all my bikes are in this closet. So I've got 4 bikes. I'm gonna do a little quick bike check. Got some tools here, but let's get at it. Homeschooling. All right guys, for the first bike though, we got the 2019 NS Eccentric Hardtail. This is the chromoly version, steel. It's a size medium. Pretty generous reach and top tube proportions or whatever. It feels good. The size medium, usually I ride size large bikes for the most part, but this feels perfect for me. Good balance between, roomy enough where you can breathe and you're not hitting your knees on the handlebars, and small enough where it feels completely flickable still. All right, I guess we'll just start at the front of the bike though and make our way back. Wheels, we got the Revol Traverse carbon wheels. These are the 38 millimeter width wheels. These are 27.5 front and back. And these are DT Swiss subs, although they are branded Revol. They're the ratchet system. These have got the 54 points of engagement there, or 54 teeth. You hear that? So not the highest engagement hum, but it's pretty good. Sounds good too. Those rims are wrapped with Maxxis tires. These are the Recon Plus tires, 27.5 by 2.8. And the 2.8 width tire with these wide rims makes a good combo. It doesn't wobble that much, but it still provides plenty of cushion support for, a hardtail. So it kind of buffs out some of the stuff since you're on suspension. For the front fork, got the RockShox Lyric Select Plus fork. This is off my high tower I used to have. Still set at 150 millimeters of travel. With that travel in this frame, we're looking at a 65-degree head angle there. Doesn't feel that slack though, but it definitely helps on the descents. When that fork compresses, obviously it steepens the head tube, so it doesn't feel bad at all. It doesn't feel like I'm sitting up too high in the front end. And speaking of front ends, got the Renthal Fat Bar 35. This is the aluminum bars. 30 millimeter rise, so it's topped out at the top there because I like that high feeling on the hardtail. It just feels really good. Allows you to get that front end up really easily. Excuse me. So for the stem, we got the Race Face Atlas stem, 35 millimeters long. Obviously, it's a 35 millimeter clamp. And for brakes, Shimano XT M8000 brakes. Pretty grabby. I've been running code brakes recently on all my bikes, and I'm getting used to SRAM brakes. I never used to like them, but the modulation is pretty good on those codes, so it's actually hard to get used to the grabbiness of Shimano again, but they work really well. Always stop, very dependent brakes. Never have to do anything on them, just set them up once and they're good to go for a long time. Don't have to bleed them all the time. We got the Ice Tech rotors, 180 millimeters front and rear. And for grips, I had them lying around, leftovers, basic Santa Cruz, whatever grips. They're okay. I wouldn't say they're the best, but they do the job. And for the dropper, we got the P&W Renair internally routed post. This is 150 millimeters of drop. Just got the basic kind of plasticky remote. Trying to keep this, semi-budget bike. On top of that dropper, we have the Specialized. This one is the Hedge saddle. A little extra padding than the Phenom. I usually run the Phenoms with all my bikes, but this has got a little more squish. It's nice to have it on the hardtail when you're pedaling over all the roots and stuff. Kind of just buffs out the stuff a little bit more. Easier on your tank. For the cranks, got the Race Face Effectar cranks. That's with a 30-tooth chainring up front. And we have 11-speed drivetrain. No eagle on the hardtail, don't need it. with the Shimano XCM 8000 derailleur and the SLX shifter. And for cassette, we have the SRAM GX, just 11-speed cassette. Don't need for the Eagle on the hardtail. Let's move on to the next bike. Damn, small bump on this thing is unreal, son. This is the 2020 Specialized Enduro. This is, well, started off as a comp level bike, but right when I got it, you know, I swapped up all the parts. This is a size S3, which equates to about in between a medium and a large in other brands, but I say it's closest to a large size bike. You know, this Enduro, the new one, is 170 millimeters of travel, so it's a big boy. For wheels, you know, these are my trusty NV M730 carbon wheel set, 29er of course, and that's all laced up to a, what do you call it, DT Swiss 240 hubs. This one's got the 54 tooth ratchet in it, so it sounds good, just like the hardtail. Love these wheels, super stiff. But for tires, running Maxxis rubber on this one. Got the Azazai, God, I can't say that tire's name. Azagai? Azagai? Maxxis tire. This one is just the 3C Max Terra Exo Protection front tire. This is 29 by 2.5. And then for the back, we have the Maxxis Aggressor. This is the dual compound. Exo Protection also. I'm trying to keep it lightweight just to ride around my local trails. Yeah, but this is 29 by 2.3, so a little bit lighter. And I think this bike probably weighs, I lined it up since I did my bike review on it, but I'm saying about 33 pounds, 32 and a half. The Ripley's probably like 26 and a half, and then the hardtail's probably 28-ish. But anyways, on the front end here, RockShox, Lyric fork also, so I got all RockShox suspension in my stable. This is just a select stock fork. I haven't done nothing with it. I didn't even check how many tokens on it because it feels so good already just for the base fork. I'm running the compression full open on this bad boy. For handlebars, we got the Renthal Fat Bar, but these are the carbon 35 ones. 780 millimeters wide to cut them down just a little bit. We got the Ergon grips. These are like some of my faves, the GD ones, like the downhill grip. It's got the little ridge right there, so real tacky and soft. You can ride these barehanded all day long. And these are the stock brakes, the SRAM Code brakes, the Code Rs. Not as adjustable as the RSCs, but they feel just as good, so I'm not going to change those out. For stem, just like my Ibis Ripley, True to Descendant stem, 40 millimeters long with a 35 millimeter clamp. And for the dropper, the lever is just the standard Specialized El Cheapo one, but it feels good. And you got the X-Fusion Manic jog post. I love this post. It's 150 millimeters of drop. Wish it was 170, but if it fails, which it probably won't because I had this on my past 2 bikes, they're very dependable. I might put a 170 on it. I think it could hold it. It might be able to hold it, yeah. For saddle, same as my Ripley. It's the Specialized Phenom saddle, just with the chromoly rails on this one, so we're not as concerned on weight on this bike as the Ripley. For the back shock, it's the RockShox Super Deluxe Select Plus, 170 millimeters of travel. Not much adjustability on this bad boy. You can just do air pressure, and you got the semi-lockout, fully open, and the rebound. For drivetrain, this is a full SRAM X01 drivetrain, carbon cranks, 32 tooth up front, same cassette, X01 cassette. And for rotors, I forgot to say, 200 in the front, 180 in the back. Let's get the next bike. And here's my next bike, the 2020 Ibis Ripley. This is the size large frame. I'm 5'10", 175 pounds. I don't know if I said that before, but this is a full carbon frame, really lightweight. I think it only weighs like sub 6 pounds with the shock, maybe 5.5 or something like that. So super light frame, but still plenty stiff. But for this bike, we'll start at the front also. Carbon Revolve Traverse wheels. These are mated to DT Swiss 350 hubs. This rear hub's only got the 32 points or 32 ratchet on it. I just haven't upgraded it yet. Or 36, I think it's 36, but sounds like that. It's okay. Maybe a nice i9 would be better. But yeah, nice wheels. And for tires, running XC tires right now, the gum walls. I know some of you don't like it, but I think it looks pretty sweet. They got the fast track tires. I'm getting really used to these tires. And for the fork, we have the RockShox Pike Ultimate Fork. Set to 130 millimeters of travel right now. I also have the 140 air spring, but this is probably like one of my favorite forks. It's just so plush. I'm off the top, and then it just ramps up nicely. Pretty stiff. For settings on this one, I really don't mess with the settings all that much, but low speed compression, I got it 2 clicks out of full open. And high speed compression, I haven't even touched it out of the box. I don't even want to touch it because it feels so good. I haven't messed with it. But for rebound on this one, it's like 2 clicks from full fast or whatever. Same thing as on my hardtail. Handlebars, tilted descendant carbon bars, 760 millimeters wide and 20 millimeter rise. And for the stem, we have the tilted descendant stem. This is a 40 millimeter long stem, 35 clamp obviously. And that mounted to those bars, we have the SRAM Code RSC brakes. These brakes are phenomenal. These are like downhill brakes on a basically Trail XC bike. But I had them laying around from a previous bike, so I had to throw them on here. They work phenomenal, great modulation. I've gotten so used to them, it's hard to use Shimano again with the modulation unless you come into a turn and not lock up your back tire. Perfect. So really good brakes, very dependable. A little more finicky than Shimano because it's SRAM brakes, but I think it's worth it. Also with 180 rotors back and front, and under those brakes we have the P&W loam lever, and that's actuating the P&W Batro post. This is our higher end post. 170 millimeters of drop. It's really similar to like the Fox Transfer of how it moves, the speed, and you hear that little clunk, so it's nice. You know the post is all the way up when it hits there. End of the bars are the P&W components. New grips, the loam grips I think they're called. Nice and tacky. I like riding bare-handed sometimes and they feel great. Never get, even when your hands get a little slippery or sweaty, with all these little ridges on here, holds on pretty good. You can move back here so you can see the whole bike. For the rear shock, we have the RockShox Deluxe rear shock. This is usually comes with a Fox shock. You can get the performance one or the Kashima one, the factory one. But I swapped out the Fox one because it's just it was very harsh off the top. There was no plushness to it, just very springy. It works well, but just this RockShox has a nice small bump sensitivity. But I also had to max it out with tokens because it was going through the travel pretty quick. So I had like the 3 tokens in there, or volume spacers, whatever you call them on here. And it doesn't bottom out anymore. There's no harsh bottom out at least, but I'm using all the travel, so it's set up perfect. And in the front fork, I forgot to say I have 2 volume spacers. For drivetrain, we have the X01 Eagle drivetrain, Descendant carbon cranks, Eagle cassette, 500% range, 10 to 50 tooth, or 10 to the 50 tooth, and for chainring, 32 tooth on this bad boy. And for the saddle, specialized Phenom saddle with the tie rails. Keep it nice and light and fast. Well, that's it for the Ibis Ripley. This is probably one of my favorite bikes for my local trails. Just handles everything. I hope you enjoyed this bike check video. We'll be back on the trails in no time, guys, so make sure you stay inside, stay healthy, and stay tuned. We got a couple more bikes coming in the near future in the JC Trails channel, which I think you guys are gonna enjoy. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.